products. In this video, I'll be describing our myFocus mobile product. For those restaurateurs that are always on the go but need to stay in the know, myFocus Mobile provides powerful access to detailed sales, labor, audit, and status information, all from your iPhone or your Android device. You simply have to download the app from the corresponding app store, either Google Marketplace or the iPhone App Store. And in this video, I'll be demonstrating on the iPhone. You have an icon that looks like this. All you have to do is simply click on it. And we've already entered our username and password, and it's going to default to the current day. You'll see for our demo purposes here, we have 4 different stores. Store name, net sales, and labor percentage. And on all the screens here that have headers, you can simply click on the header and it will sort by the column, ascending or descending. You can change the date that you're looking at by the buttons over here. So simply we can just click on it and it'll do the previous day, and you can click on it again, and of course you can go forward, or if you want to go jump to a specific day, all you have to do is click on the heading up on top and you can scroll through whatever you want and just click done. So we'll just go back to yesterday so we have some data in here. Okay, now on a lot of these screens, if you turn your iPhone sideways, you'll notice that you'll have another column available here. And I'll show you on our multi-store dash, as well as our store dash here in a little bit, how you can define which columns that appear on the top here. Okay, so on our multi-store dash, in our example, we have our net sales, and then you'll see our totals line on the bottom, and that will be the sum of the net sales for all stores here. And then we have our averages line. This average means it's going to be the average sales amount for all 4 stores, so you can quickly glance and see which stores are performing better than others. Same holds true with our averages section, our labor percentage here. This is the average labor percentage across all stores. Alright, next thing you'll see is our little icon right behind the store name. This works off the zip code that you set up. So basically, you can see if your stores are in different cities, you can see what the weather's like without having to call, and that'll help explain why your sales are why they are. If it's rainy, maybe your sales go down, and that'll give you a quick little explanation why sales are lacking. Alright, the next thing you'll notice is the blue text on the left side here. That generally means you can drill down on the particular field. So we'll go ahead and click on Store 1 right here. And that brings us to our single store dashboard. Now our single store dashboard is modeled after the Focus POS InFocus product. We have it grouped in a few different sections. We have our first group here is just myFocus. And it has all this information here. And then our next group will be our miscellaneous information. There's currently, since it's for a previous day, it does not show any employees on the clock or overtime employees. If we go to the current day by clicking our button over here, our employees on the clock are now populated here. And then the last section we have is our system alerts. So let's run down and I will walk you through how this works. Like I said earlier, if the stuff is in blue, that means we can drill down on it. So our net sales for yesterday is $10,000, roughly $10,000. So we can go ahead and click on net sales. And this shows us all our report groups that make up our net sales. So if you'll notice, if we spin our iPhone sideways again, we have another field over here. So be sure to spin your phone up and down if you want to see a little more detailed information. So let's go ahead and click down on our beer. You'll click down on our beer, you can see how many units and the amount. Again, we can just click on the label. So we can see Bud Light is the biggest seller for yesterday. And we'll go back to our main dashboard here. We have our labor dollar, our labor percentage, voids, discounts. These both work the same way. So let's go ahead and see what's on the voids here. So we have our jumbo rocks. We can see the employee and the amount. And once again, we can spin the phone sideways. We can see what time it was voided now. So let's go ahead and click on this. And whenever you see a screen like this with the buttons, the little dots on the bottom, it means you can simply swipe your finger across it and quickly look at all your voids here. Alright, so I won't go through all of these. Interesting one to note is going to be our first clock in at 8:59 a.m. There's an asterisk beside it. You know that first clock in has been edited. So if you want to see who the first person that clocked in the day, just simply click on the field. And it tells us Santos P clocked in at 8:59 yesterday. We have our averages section. You can see yesterday we had 272 checks, an average check amount of $36.74. And our guests, we had 827 guests walk in the door with an average PPA of $12.08. And the time would be the average ticket time of 1 hour, 1 minute, and 40 seconds. Checks, if we had open checks, it would show us the number, the reopened checks, and the missing beverages. Those are the number of checks that did not have beverages associated with it. Then we move down our sales by period. We set this up at the store level, and it sends it up and displays it right here. You can have 4 different periods. Right now, we'll go ahead and drill down on lunch. And it breaks it down per interval, 11 a.m. in hour increments. So you can quickly see what your best hour of the day is, and it gives you totals for your lunch right there. Alright, so next thing we do, you can quickly drill down on your out-of-stock items if you would like. This is for the current day only, so we'll have to go over here. And we'll look at our out-of-stock right here. Same thing goes with our tracking items and our countdown. Now, our variable price items, that's a good audit check. You can see what items are ringing with the variable price. And I'll go ahead and show you exactly how this works. Let me scroll back here. So you can see yesterday we had 2 variable price items for $1.50. And if we drill down on there, we can spin the phone sideways a little bit. We had our menu item is subs extra charge, and for 75 cents. And so we can see exactly what's going on here. Alright, so our last section, system alerts, it tells you what the current date is. The business date that we're looking at currently will be the previous day, of course. Our last batch, it shows the date and the amount of the last batch, the time it was batched. And if you enter a deposit into the system, it'll show you the dollar amount of the deposit. If your credit cards happen to be offline, it'll tell you if the credit cards are offline. If you have any printer errors, printer's broken down or something, it'll display it. And if you have special pricing in effect, it will also show you the special pricing. Okay. The only other thing on this screen is our little magnifying glass up here. If you want to switch to a different store, you simply click on it, select your store, and click done. And of course, it'll show you the different store right there. All right. The other button we have on the bottom is our manager log. Now, what the manager log is a red book that each store can use, and you can view it straight from your phone every time a manager enters some information here. So the store that's selected right now is our demo store, Focus Cafe. We do not have any manager logs. So let's go ahead and select Store 1 and click OK. And this is a list of all our logs here, the last 10 manager logs. So we'll go down here and we look for yesterday. We can look over here. We can click on it and it'll say the date and the time that it was entered. And just a general message, hey, it was great weather yesterday, and whatever user that posted it. Once again, we have the dots on the bottom that you can scroll through simply by swiping your finger. And it gives you a little detailed information. And if you want to look at a different store, of course, like I just showed you, you can select your different store and see what's going on here. And we notice this one's a high priority. So it's okay. We need to order more tequila. All right, so we can go ahead and order more tequila and get a restaurant in shape. Now, the last thing our manager log I'm going to show you is how to add a log. So we're on Store 2. We want to add a message. So let's go ahead and click on the little plus here. We can select our date. It will default to the current date. Let's say you can select your priority. We'll just say medium. We'll say done. We can select the weather if we want. We have all our defaults over here. Say today's pretty sunny, so let's go ahead and click sunny. And then it's going to have our notes section. So we can enter whatever notes we want. Need more, so we say need to order beer. Just something just real simple, just to show you how it works. And then we click done. And now once we make sure everything is exactly how we want it, all we have to do is click add. And it says, hey, a log has been our message has been added. And of course, if we want to go back home, this brings us to the store dashboard. Or if we want to look over here, it brings us to our multi-store dashboard. So if you want to look to see how everything is set up, you can go to settings, and you'll notice we have the options for the myFocus right here. We just click on it. Tells us a version, the username and password, and the multi-store field. You can choose to display the weather icon or not, and you can customize the fields that you want to display. Now, if the iPhone is in portrait mode, like you see it right now, it's only going to display 2 fields, 1 and 2, and if you have it in landscape mode, it will show you 3 fields. And you can select what fields are being displayed simply by clicking the option right here, and you can see what options are available to look at. Since we have a check mark by net sales, that's what it's going to show us. And you can run down, and these are all the available options that we have to see. Okay, same thing works with field 2 and field 3. And the store dash fields is the last thing I'll show you in this video. If you have some fields that are not really relevant to your restaurant, you can opt not to even display them on there. Perhaps you don't do return items, you simply just slide it off and it won't show it on there for you. And you can do the same with all the fields on the store level dashboard. That about sums it up for our myFocus mobile. And until next time, Focus Fanatics, stay focused.